Hey coins lover, welcome back to CoinAge era, the channel where small coins reveal big hidden secrets. Today's video is going to be very special because we're not just talking about one coin. We're doing a powerful comparison between two iconic US coins that collectors are still hunting for. On one side, we have the legendary 1964 Jefferson Nickel, a coin connected to a crucial time in American history. And on the other side, the 1967 Washington Quarter, a coin from an era when the U.S. Mint made surprising changes that still impact value today. Both coins may look normal. Both were used in everyday transactions. But here's the real question. Which one is more valuable? Which one is rarer? And could one of them be hiding in your pocket right now? Stay till the end, because this comparison might completely change the way you look at your old coins. Let's start with the first coin, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel is not just another coin. It represents one of the most dramatic periods in U.S. coin history. To truly understand its importance, you have to go back to a time when America was facing a major shift in its monetary system. This coin features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, a founding father known for his intelligence, leadership, and for drafting the Declaration of Independence. The reverse showcases his iconic estate Monticello, a symbol of vision, architecture, and legacy that has remained on the nickel for decades. But the real story of the 1964 nickel isn't just about design. It's about crisis, demand, and mass production. The 1964 coin crisis era. During the early 1960s, especially around 1964, the United States faced a coin shortage crisis. People began hoarding coins, especially silver ones like dimes and quarters, because the value of silver was rising. Even though the Jefferson Nickel was made of a copper-nickel alloy, not silver, it still got pulled into this wave of hoarding. As a result, everyday circulation started to suffer. There simply weren't enough coins moving around in the economy. To solve this issue, the U.S. Mint made a bold move. They started producing coins in extremely large quantities, and that's exactly what happened with the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. Record-breaking mintage. The numbers are shocking. Philadelphia Mint, 2.8+ billion coins. Denver Mint, over 1 billion coins. Combined, that's nearly 4 billion nickels minted in just 1 year. This makes the 1964 Jefferson Nickel one of the most heavily produced coins in U.S. history. Because of this, the coin is still very common today. You can even find it in circulation if you're lucky. Value and worth breakdown. Now here's the part every collector wants to know. How much is it worth? Circulated condition. Most 1964 nickels that show wear are only worth face value 5 cents. Uncirculated, MS6, OMS64. Coins with little to no wear can sell for around $2 to $8. High grade, MS65 and above. Now things get interesting. These can reach $10 to $25 plus. Full steps FS, variety. If the steps of Monticello are fully visible and sharp, collectors pay premium prices. Value, $50 to $150 depending on condition. Rare errors and hidden treasures. Despite being common, some 1964 nickels are extremely valuable due to mint errors. These include double die obverse, DDO, off-center strike, die cracks or clipped planchettes. Such error coins can range from $50 to $300 plus, or even more depending on rarity and grade. So you might ask, if billions were made, why do collectors still care? Because this coin represents a historic economic crisis, one of the highest mintages ever recorded. The possibility of finding rare high-value versions in everyday change. It's a perfect example of how something extremely common can still hide extraordinary value. Let's talk about our next coin, The Washington Quarter Series began in 1932, created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The design features Washington's profile on the obverse front and a bald eagle on the reverse back, symbolizing strength and freedom. Now, the 1967 issue is special because it was minted during a very important economic phase in U.S. history. In the mid-1960s, the United States was facing a serious coin shortage, mainly because silver prices were rising rapidly and people started hoarding silver coins instead of spending them. Because of this crisis, the U.S. government made a historic decision. Starting from 1965, they removed silver from quarters completely. So the 1967 Washington quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, not silver. It has outer layers, copper-nickel, core, pure copper. Weight, around 5.67 grams. No mint mark, because all were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco under special rules, but without marks in those years. This change marked the end of an era, the final disappearance of circulating silver quarters from everyday American pocket change. Is the 1967 Washington quarter valuable? Now the big question, is it valuable? In general, a normal circulated 1967 quarter equals 25 cents to $1. Uncirculated mint state coins equals $5 to $20 plus depending on condition. Special high-grade MS65 coins equals can reach $30, $100 plus. But here's the important point. This coin is not rare in circulation. Millions were minted, so it's very common. However, collectors still value it because it belongs to the early clad coinage era. It represents the end of silver coin circulation history. High-grade pieces are getting harder to find over time. Comparison insight. Compared to silver Washington quarters, 1932 to 1964. 1967 equals no silver, lower intrinsic metal value. 1932 to 1964 equals contains 90% silver, much higher melt value. So if you're comparing value, silver quarters equals always more valuable in metal terms. 1967 quarter equals valuable mainly for condition and collector demand. Final verdict. The 1967 Washington quarter is not a rare coin, but it is an important historical piece. It represents a turning point in U.S. currency when silver coins disappeared from daily use. So its value is more historical than monetary, unless you find it in very high mint condition. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel and the 1967 Washington quarter both look like ordinary pocket change, but their value story is slightly different. The 1964 nickel is generally more interesting to collectors because it comes from the final silver era, influence period, and in top condition. It can reach around $5 to $20 plus, while in normal circulation it stays close to 5 cents to $1. On the other hand, the 1967 Washington quarter belongs to the clad coin era, no silver content. So in regular condition it is worth about 25 cents to $1. And even in higher mint state it usually reaches around $5 to $30 plus, meaning both coins are not highly rare in everyday form, but the nickel often wins slightly in collector interest due to its historical connection, while the quarter is more common and mainly valued for condition rather than metal content. Some high-grade coins can be worth far more than their face value, so always check before you spend. Subscribe to CoinAge Era for more coin comparisons, history, and hidden values.